Have you ever been working on a project and suddenly realized that hours had passed in what felt like minutes? You were so completely absorbed that you lost all sense of time. For most of us, those moments are incredibly rare. More often, we sit down trying to get something done, a phone buzzes with a single message, and that brief interruption derails our concentration for the rest of the afternoon. To understand how we can get that deep focus back, we are going to follow a specific mental map. We'll start with the attention battery, then the flow state, the sweet spot, and finally the trigger rules. We can reach this level of focus by looking at the specific way the brain chooses to spend its limited energy. Think of your daily capacity to pay attention as a physical battery. You wake up every morning with a strictly finite biological reserve of energy available for concentration, and once you drain it, it is gone for the day. Many of us try to stretch that energy by doing two things at once, like reading an email while listening to a meeting. But the human brain cannot actually process two complex tasks simultaneously. It is really just rapidly switching your spotlight of focus back and forth between them. Our environment is actively working against our ability to stay on task. Every single time you switch tasks or pause to look at a notification, your brain burns a fraction of its limited battery capacity to disconnect from the original thought and reorient to the new one. Treating our attention as if it were an endless supply is what leaves us feeling completely exhausted without having accomplished much. To do meaningful work, we must treat that battery as a precious resource and protect it. So, what happens if we take every last drop of that attention battery and pour it into one singular, uninterrupted action? This text outlines the foundational research by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. By tracking people's feelings throughout the day, he was able to identify the exact conditions behind what his subjects described as their absolute best moments in life. He called these moments the flow state. Entering this zone, people often lose their sense of self-consciousness. The inner critic goes quiet, and they completely merge with the task they are doing right in the present moment. Distraction disappears during flow because your attention is fully occupied. When 100% of your battery is focused on one task, your brain simply has no room left over to notice background noise. Flow is a way of working where you are so involved that distractions are literally starved of the mental energy they need to reach your awareness. To consistently trigger that state, there is a specific logic you have to apply. It all comes down to balancing two variables: the difficulty of the task you are facing and your personal level of skill. This chart maps out exactly how that balance works. Facing a highly difficult challenge with a low skill level moves the dot to the top left, creating anxiety. Having a high skill for an easy task drops the dot to the bottom right, leaving you bored. Engaging in an activity where both the challenge and your skill are very low, like absent-mindedly scrolling on a phone, moves the dot to the bottom left. In this zone, the brain defaults to a state of total apathy and stagnation. The sweet spot appears when you take your highest level of skill and match it against a highly difficult challenge. This moves the dot to the top right corner and unlocks the flow state. Flow comes from actively seeking out tasks that stretch your abilities and push you right to the edge of what you can handle. Because flow requires such a delicate and precise balance, we have to intentionally design our environment to make it happen. The first rule is to select one clearly defined, singular goal. Whether you are coding software or practicing an instrument, setting aside every other priority helps your brain know exactly where to direct its energy. The second rule is that the task must provide instant feedback. When you can immediately see the results of your actions, your brain understands its progress and can adjust without losing momentum. Clear goal, instant feedback, and an environment free from distractions creates the boundaries needed to lock your brain into that sweet spot. This is the complete picture. Protect your attention battery, understand how the flow state works, find the sweet spot on the chart, and use the trigger rules to lock it in. We find this focus by matching a difficult challenge with our best skills, while protecting our limited attention. You now possess the logic to find that deep focus for yourself. Thanks for watching KR Simplified.